This is Gem Steak Grabbing and Gunning, and today I'm making fettuccine al burro and chicken parmesan. I'm sure I'm probably not pronouncing al burro correctly, but basically it is fettuccine alfredo, as Italians know it. 4 ingredients: fettuccine, pasta water, cracked black pepper, butter, and parmesan. And chicken parmesan, chicken breaded sauce and cheese. I've already pounded out my chicken breasts and they've been sitting in rice flour for about 2 hours now. And so what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and beat up my eggs. I'm gonna season my egg slurry because I forgot, like a dumbass, to season my rice flour when I dip my chicken breasts in it, but we'll take care of that right now. And so I'm gonna add some salt and pepper. I went ahead and actually a lot of these ingredients that I'm using today, I used to make Detroit style pizza. So I ordered brick cheese off of Amazon, which is like 30 bucks for about 2 pounds, I wanna say. And then I went ahead and made my own pizza sauce that I will be topping my chicken parmesan with. Basically San Marzano tomatoes, fresh basil, fresh garlic, garlic powder, salt, pepper. Honestly, I think that is about it. There wasn't much to it, and I just kind of crushed the San Marzano tomatoes with my hands and then heated it up for a little bit. Maybe some onion powder. I should have probably done a better job at that. Beat up my eggs real quick, get that slurry. I'm sure you guys can appreciate my Halloween tray here for my breadcrumbs. I'm just gonna show you one of these. I don't necessarily feel like you guys need to watch me, necessarily feel the need to watch me make all 4 of these. So I'll go ahead and just start. So I have my egg slurry. I'm gonna take one of my chicken cutlets, again, that have been sitting in rice flour and in the fridge dry as you can get them, for about 2 hours. Go ahead and dip that in here. And this is the reason why I chose the Halloween platter, because I wanna be able to put all 4 of my chicken cutlets on the platter at some point. So I'm just gonna dip it in here. Cover with breadcrumbs. Again, you want one clean hand and one dirty hand. Unfortunately, my dirty hand's gonna be my right hand. And you just wanna make sure that those are coated evenly across the board. For my cheese, like I'd mentioned, I actually ordered some brick cheese off of Amazon and grated that along with some fresh low moisture mozzarella. And that's what I put on my Detroit style pizzas, and they were freaking phenomenal. If you guys like this, maybe I'll make a video about Detroit style pizza, even though there's about 1 trillion out there right now on the internet. Obviously, nobody's gonna make them as good as Buddy's in Detroit, but you know, we can all dream and hope. Perfect. So I'm just gonna continue to do the rest of these, and I will see you guys back here in just a second. So my oil's just about 350 right now. Something I failed to mention earlier when I was breading my chicken cutlets. I'm just using panko. I did a mix of half Italian seasoned and just plain panko. Again, I was gonna season the panko crumbs, but all the seasoning would have probably just fallen to the bottom, so I decided to season my egg yolks instead. I'm gonna fry these one at a time because I don't want to crowd the pan. Obviously, we're deep frying here, and I want to get the best results possible. I have a lined cookie sheet here with parchment paper and a rack to let the excess oil drip off as we dip our breadcrumbs in. And if you've ever worked in fast food or any place that had a deep fryer, you, I'm sure, know that when you go to drop your food in, you want to drop it away from you as to not get yourself burned. So I'm just going to lay that in there gently, and we'll see how this goes. I'm deep frying outside because my wife hates the smell of oil. Hopefully my oil can get hot enough to where it's not just soaking up grease, but it seems to be doing pretty good so far. I pounded these chicken cutlets out fairly thin, so they should cook pretty quickly with the panko breadcrumbs on here. But let me get back to it. Thanks. As you can see, that didn't take any time at all. I, again, pounded those out super thin, and it's just panko breadcrumbs. Doesn't look bad. Again, these are going to spend some time in the oven anyways with my homemade marinara sauce, as well as some cheese, the brick cheese and mozzarella combo that I made for Detroit style pizza. Let me go ahead and I'll grab some more and dump some more in. So another one here. Like I mentioned before, just make sure that when you're dumping stuff into hot oil, you're dropping it in away from you. These shouldn't take very long at all. Like I said, these are going to spend some time in the oven. I know I'm repeating myself. So I'm not overly worried or concerned about cooking these all the way through because they will get cooked. I just want to make sure they don't dry out my chicken, being that they are so thin. And so we'll keep an eye on this. My temperature is back up. And I'll keep rolling. So this has been cooking for about, geez, maybe 4 minutes. And really, that's what I'm looking for. The other one cooked a little, was a little darker, but you know, I'm okay with that. I'll eat the burnt one. I'm not too worried about that. I'm gonna leave this in here for just another minute or so. But that looks delicious. Golden brown and delicious is what you're looking for. Sweet. So now that our chicken's done and it's had a little bit of time to cool, not that that really matters, I'm gonna go ahead and top it with my homemade marinara sauce. Again, it was like San Marzano, tomatoes, basil, salt, pepper, fresh garlic powder, onion powder, red pepper flakes. You know, guys, I didn't measure any of this stuff. I just kind of cooked to what I like and adjust from there. Taste everything, make sure that your seasoning's on point, and you'll be okay. It's not as intense as baking is. Baking, you have to be precise, whereas cooking, you just kind of do whatever tastes good for you. So I'm just gonna spread some of my homemade marinara sauce, or pizza sauce, really is what I should call it, on here. And these are gonna spend a fairly decent amount of time in the oven, just getting even crispier and making sure that the cheese is melted and good. I like a lot of sauce on mine, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more to this one, I think, right here. Perfect. Excellent. Then, like I had mentioned before, I actually purchased some brick cheese to make Detroit style pizzas off of Amazon. It's like 30 bucks for 2 pounds, and then grated that along with some low moisture mozzarella that I'll be topping this with. And we are a cheese family, so I'm gonna put a shit ton on here. If you guys get a second, please check out Artistry by Colleen on Instagram. She did my logo, and I understand that it is just a stick figure, but that's what I asked for. She does amazing artwork, so please check her out on Instagram. Again, that's Artistry by Colleen. Perfect. And I just have my oven on to 350. I'm just gonna let the cheese melt on this, and then I'm gonna put it on broil because I want that like bubbly brown cheese on top. It's what my wife loves, what I love, what my kid despises, unfortunately, but who cares, we're the parents. I'm gonna get these in the oven and we'll be back. Alrighty, so the Fettuccine al Burro portion of it, and I'm sure I'm butchering the name of it, and I'm not Italian. I can barely roll my R's, so we'll see how this goes. My pasta water is salty as the sea, and it's boiling, and I am adding 1 pound of fettuccine. I believe that's 16 ounces. The recipe that I typically follow calls for 14 ounces, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the 2 other ounces of what, as well as a cup and 3 tablespoons of butter is what I'm gonna use, and then about a cup and a half of Parmesan with some fresh grated black pepper. Really, that's all it is to make pasta al burro. Al burro. I'm working my R's. But again, my pasta water is salty as a sea. You want it super salty. It's the only time you really get a chance to salt your, or to season your pasta. This is going to cook for about, well, the box says 12 minutes. I'm gonna do it for about 11 and see what that gets us, because I do want some chew to my pasta. I'm just gonna go ahead and dump this in, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't need to all be uniform. Oops. Definitely doesn't need to be all over the stove, but you know, shit happens. Get that in there, get that in there. And, you know, for the sake of me not paying attention, I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer. 11 minutes. So my pasta's been boiling for about 11 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and actually what I'm gonna do is take out about a cup and maybe a half of pasta water, because we need to help, or we need to use that to help emulsify our butter and our cheese in our fettuccine al burro. I'm just gonna set that right here. I'll go ahead and strain my pasta water. And in my white bowl, I have, again, about half a cup and like 3 tablespoons of butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dump my fettuccine in there. And I'm gonna add bits of cheese at a time. This is all about technique, folks. You know, again, typical fettuccine Alfredos made with like heavy cream and everything else. You really have to be kind of sensitive with this. In fact, I probably should have turned this with the butter first just to get butter in it, but I'm gonna add little bits of cheese at a time so I can get it emulsified. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Pasta water. Again, this is all about technique, and if you fuck up the technique, then you're basically just gonna get buttery fettuccine with clumps of Parmesan in it, and that's absolutely not what we're going for here. That's what you want. Creaminess right there. And again, the pasta water is going to help emulsify the butter and the Parmesan cheese. So you just want to continue to just keep that moving. Moving. I have messed this up a few different times, and thank God my family has grace. They just ate it and had smiles on their face and were like, well, maybe next time you can do this better, or next time you can do this better. Clearly I don't have my technique down just yet, but you know, it is what it is, and you live and you learn. But I can guarantee one thing, it is gonna taste pretty freaking delicious. Top it with just a little bit more Parmesan. Like I said, folks, it's all about technique. This looks amazing to me. I'm gonna eat the shit out of it. Hope you guys at least try it. And if you figure out the technique on here, please comment below and let me know what I did wrong. To me, it looks fairly good. Probably just a little bit too much cheese, but we'll see. Thanks.